Alright, as you guys know, we are already within the new patch of 2.2 for Zenless Zone Zero. This means, like always, there's going to be tier list discussions where characters are placed at. And funny enough, there has been a little bit of a shift based off some of the things that we've seen about Zenless so far coming in within 2.2. And it's overall been a shift in a tier list change that Prydwen has made, that I think is in a much better light or healthier stance for the game and gives a better idea of character strength. And that is, Prydwen made the change actually to include signature weapons for characters within their list now. And this is because they said they got a lot of feedback back, and a lot of people stated that they have some form of signature weapon with some form of limited character large majority of the time. And because of this, we got a lot of adjustments for where characters are being positioned and where they're being currently viewed. This not only represented in some characters get moved up, but you might notice that a character or so got moved down as well. And so we're going to quickly talk about that, and then we're going to go into like my tier positions. But overall, for the most part, I don't think my list is changing much, but I do kind of want to highlight some of the things that Prydwen adjusted with theirs. And for instance, that is with Trigger getting moved back up. Everybody knows how significant and powerful Trigger is with her engine, so it's no surprise to me that she's being placed at tier 0.5 when placed with her signature or best weapon. There really isn't too many other settings that compare to how strong Trigger is with her limited engine, other than Lighter, of course, and then Jafufu is on a very similar level. And then we have characters like Seed being moved up within 0.5 because of the introduction of Orphe being part of the game, making her scores a lot more consistent and overall a lot higher. Now, in my opinion, Orphe and Seed's, I say that in my video, its synergy is really good, but I do think that there will be a character that comes that will probably even elevate Seed even more than Orphe, because Seed doesn't fully take advantage of Aftershock. But that's only if time will tell if we'll ever get another supporter essentially complement Seed as well as Orphe does. But some people probably also didn't notice that Sambi didn't move, and I'm also surprised they didn't put like the watch eye on Sambi. But I think it's because they didn't move Sambi yet because we know that she has a buff, major buffs on the way really soon. And I'm not going to say anything about what these buffs specifically are, but I will say don't be surprised if this young lady here moves up here. And it's going to be not only her buffs, but being complemented with how Orphe works so well with Sambi. Sambi's is going to be looking good in the next upgrade that we get with her. Something that you might notice that some people might be questioning, if you haven't seen my tier list last back within 2.1, you might notice that Hugo dropped down. And if you saw my list, I already included Hugo within T1 when we talked about him in 2.1. And some of you are probably wondering, well, why is Hugo getting dropped down? I can't remember if I mentioned in my video talking about Hugo, or maybe we should. I believe I brought it up within my tier list video we did last time. Is that Hugo falling off is an inevitability. This is something that progressively happens to every character, but for the style of character that Hugo is, the one-shot archetype, as HP increases, he will be the one that declines the hardest out of all of our DPS in the game, because he will live and die by this one-shot playstyle that if he doesn't receive any form of buffs or agents that complements this style of play for him, it just won't work out for him in the long run. And personally, I feel like that this was already being a noticeable thing back within 2.1, that I already placed him at T1. Like, I already feel like he wasn't even on the same level as characters like Evelyn, and even to the point that when I make my adjustments now, he might even fall below a character like Sambi, and maybe he might be getting close to being probably neck and neck with Ellen, or it might get worse over time. Who knows? But I think Hugo is definitely one of the characters that's in a position where he might need some help in the near future, in order for him to not fall off again, in order for him to not extremely fall off. That is one of the main. That is basically the main reason why he's getting affected. The DA and all the content stuff is not complimenting his style of play. I think he's still better than Ellen. He possibly is. I haven't played much Ellen recently, so I don't have much I can say there. Assuming he got a slider, yeah. Which is probably why I would rate him a little lower than Ellen, just because I value character flexibility a lot, and Hugo is just one of them ages that has very little flexibility right now. So it makes it hard for me to vouch for him higher than like a character like Ellen. And that's really it in regards to the changes for Prydwen in their list. So when going over mine, I would say that my list doesn't really change much at all. I probably wouldn't really change much here in the current position, and I'll kind of hide my camera for a second. I probably wouldn't change much here based on what I'm seeing. Did your original list take W engines into account? Yes. I'm someone that's always counted W engine and character strengths. That's personally always something that I've done. I guess you guys will notice if you're new that I put Yi Zhuan below Miyabi, and that is because I think it's been very noticeable that Yi Zhuan without her dedicated buffs isn't as strong as people thought that she was. And I think that's a very right difference in between her and Miyabi. But I will say Miyabi is slowly but surely getting hit right now because of how in-game is currently set up. But she's still powering through at the moment. But we are starting to feel those walls come down of Miyabi isn't Miyabi level like we thought that she was always going to be for a long time. We're starting to hit those walls, but I do think there is a difference in strength between her. I put Miyabi at 0.5 and Alice at 0. I don't want to make that drastic of a change just yet. I think I'm open to, but I would rather wait one more patch to see how Miyabi ends up doing, and then how Alice continues to fare. But I think that's a pretty decent ask, just because a lot of the content has been shifting to rewarding physical a bit more. But we'll see. I think the only adjustment I will make, ordering wise, I would. Haru is still fine. Soldier is still fine. Because of what's the name's inclusion, Neko is a bit better. So she's not bottom of the barrel, but she's mostly just used for battery too, if I'm going to be honest. I think at least she drops down here. As more patches go by, she's just less valuable over time. I don't think we're kind of get to the point that Lucy isn't really needed in like a lot of different teams. I think the only reason I keep Caesar up here is because of her versatility. But Caesar is definitely getting much closer to like this 1.5 position too. I think, what's the name, put them at 1.5? Yeah, probably won't put them at 1.5. I don't think she's the same tier as Lucy and Rena. I don't think she's there just yet. I can understand why people put her there, but I don't know if I exactly put her on that same level just yet. But I think it's a fair argument that if you think that she leads 1.5, I think that's a fair statement. But for Seed and Orphe, 0.5 girlies. I definitely get more out of Poker and Lycan than Caesar. Well, that's why I put them leading. I put them leading in T1, which is, by the way, my list is ordered. By the way, this is how I currently feel. This is probably how I'm feeling overall. Seed, nice upgrade. But Orphe has her at the peak of performance right now, allowing her to be very comparable to Evelyn's performance. I haven't got too refreshed on how Evelyn is doing, but we'll see. Orphe, great inclusion, perfect example of what a sub DPS should be. It's actually really nice. So really good to see. I think Bernice is actually slightly better because Orphe lighter Bernice is quite good. But that's only one comp. The reason I dropped Bernice down because every comp that she was a part of, she got replaced. She isn't bad, but I think I just think there's a lot better options. And then that Orphe lighter Bernice team, that's a team you can run, but that's like a make it work team for Orphe. I think Bernice is still really good. I just think Bernice follows the old logic of how sub DPS works, and that her main strength is that she performs her stuff off field, allowing her to trigger disorders a lot better than like most DPS due to her not being able to take up any field time. But she doesn't really amplify any other aspect of her team, which is where I think she's falling short at, and where she could see some improvements in the future. But she still is strong. We just don't see her much at all, though. One thing I will say, that man Lighter will always, if there's a fire and ice element, he always shows his value. Which if you guys want to hear from my previous discussion that I had on why I place Lighter at 0.5, is that even though that he's a great niche option and he works for so many fire and ice units, and we have a lot of great fire and ice units, I just think that his overall support that he provides isn't on the same level as the entire universal support that Astron User has for the entire cast. He's very close. I think it's very neck and neck. You can argue that he is at the end of the T0, and I'm fine with that if you want to put that. But for me, I think that versatility again is very valuable to me, and his versatility just isn't on the same level as theirs, which is why I put him just slightly a tier lower. But yeah, that's basically it when it comes to like the difference in characters per tier and stuff. At the very least, Nicole is T0. Should we make that move? Should we make that move? We always talk about that every time, and it's always in everybody's chat of Nicole being T0. It's always true. It might be time. We've been praising the strength of Nicole for so much and her flexibility in this game. It's insane. That new drive set, that new disc set on her works like a charm. It's everything about this character. It's such a simple kit, but it just works. It just works. Her only downside ever is if sometimes being put her in team comps, it just feels like a little clunky. Like that's how I feel like with running Seed or Feed Nicole. It feels a little clunky running Nicole in that team, but I think it's because how those other two agents operate and how long the animations can be. I just think it feels weird in that dynamic, but it's still a strong team. It's just crazy how much this character, how strong this character truly is as an agent. It doesn't make any sense. Which is why Hugo sucks, or why he's declining, because he can't work with any of our best supports other than Lighter. And even then, if Lighter isn't on the team, it's rough. It's rough. Hugo sucks, you heard it here, but he sadly does, man. His gimmick is cool, and I love Hugo. I think he's a very fun character, but I think there's no reason to, especially when his rerun come around. If you're someone that doesn't love this character, I honestly think there's no reason to ever pull for him. Ice is being nerfed thanks to Miyabi. Even prior to that, like Hugo is just he's just been solid. If I have Miyabi, you have Yadari. Ace, we're not ready for that yet. You know how much in arms the community is going to be once she falls off. Which I just want to say, this it's an inevitability for every character, you guys. It's an inevitability that every character is going to decline over time. Miyabi as well. Every character except Sambi. Sambi got an additional warranty. She got an extended life for a little longer, but her time will come soon enough. But yeah, that's overall the character power within Zenless. I think we're in a pretty decent spot right now. Placements are about to start shifting within these next couple patches, I think, but not because of characters eclipsing somebody's strength or anything. I think the game state is shifting pretty heavily right now. And we're about to see like a lot of switch up on characters' values and stuff. Anomaly is being countered, and it seems like they're trying to throttle that a bit more. They're trying to prepare for rupture. Rupture meta is on the way, so it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of big shift. We'll see. Now Sambi T0 for the next year. Trust. Oh yeah. With the changes that Sambi looks like she's getting, she's going to be up there for a minute. They made some pretty nice changes to her. That she's going to be top tier for a minute. They gave her the things that she should have had from the beginning. She looks like a complete character now. So much so that I'm probably going to pull for her. I might skip Yidhari for Sambi. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I think that's all that we have to talk about for this final list. I think everything looks good. There's not really too much change. I think again we won't see more changes until the game state happens, but we'll be back again at the end of 2.3 to see where Lucia, Kamune, and Yidhari will place, as well as adjustments to Sambi and whoever else comes out and get there and maybe it's adjustments and stuff. If you guys have any objections or any other thoughts that you have on the current state of the game and how you feel about these placements, let me know in the comments below. I think we're in a fine state for now. I know we have had some bumpy roads recently in these past couple weeks with talking about HP inflation and power creep and all that, but I will say this recent run of DA in game has been a little smoother. We might have just had like a bad batch that last DA and stuff, that it just didn't feel great. But we'll continue to monitor. We'll continue to discuss the state of the game and all that stuff. We're in an okay position. We're not in a great position. I'll say that. We're in an okay position right now. But it is good to see that a good chunk of the roster is in a healthy state of T1 and higher. So there's a lot of valuable units here. I appreciate y'all and all your love and support. Remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And always remember to believe in you that believes in yourself. I'll see you guys in the next one.